Hi, Kevin Pawlak here with Emerging Civil War. I'm standing here on the western edge of what was the West Woods as it became known after the September 17th Battle of Antietam. Standing in front of one of the more unique monuments here on the Antietam battlefield, and it's the monument to men of the 15th Massachusetts. They belong to John Sedgwick's division of the Union's 2nd Corps and were engaged in action here in the mid-morning hours of September 17th. They were part of a massive Union formation, over 5,000 soldiers under the command of John Sedgwick, that moved from the East Woods across the area of the morning's battle here into the West Woods, and as they were facing west, came under attack from Confederate troops that had been sent from other points of the battlefield here. And so the 15th Massachusetts, among the other units of Sedgwick's division, was caught in a very, very bad situation. All told, the 15th carried into action 606 men, but in about 15 minutes, 330 of those soldiers would be killed, wounded, missing, or captured. It's the largest numerical loss of any Union regiment on the Antietam battlefield. One of the best sources we have about the 15th Massachusetts is this great collection of letters of Roland Bowen, who served from Ball's Bluff to Gettysburg, as the title suggests here. But one of Bowen's best letters talks about the aftermath of the Battle of Antietam. So I want to take you to the back side of the monument here, where there is a list of all of the wounded or the soldiers that were killed or mortally wounded here at the Battle of Antietam. And one soldier in particular had a personal connection to Roland Bowen. It's this private here in Company H, Henry Ainsworth. Bowen realized that Ainsworth was missing after the 15th was driven from this position on the morning of September 17th, and so after the Confederate Army would leave its positions here around Sharpsburg the night of September 18th, Bowen went out to look for Ainsworth because he was very close to the family. And Bowen wrote a letter to Ainsworth's father a couple of days after the battle, talking about his quest to try and find Henry Ainsworth's body. And I'll read this for you here. Now, when I heard he was dead, which was 10 or 11 o'clock on Friday the 19th, I went right over the battlefield to find his body so that I could bury it in a separate grave. I looked over a number of hundreds of bodies, but I could not find Henry anywhere. So I went down to the front of the wood, where we're standing roughly, and here I found a burying party from the 15th. I asked the lieutenant of the burying party if they had got the body of Henry Ainsworth. Yes, said he, and we have just covered the corpses over. Said I am sorry. I wish to see it and bury it separately. But I was too late, he was buried. And then, in perhaps one of the best descriptions of how Civil War soldiers were buried, Bowen continued in his letter to Mr. Ainsworth, "Perhaps you don't know how we bury the dead. Let me tell you about this particular trench, and that will suffice for the whole. The trench in which Henry is buried is situated near a log cabin just outside the garden fence. Now, through the trees, you can actually see that log cabin still standing today, that white portion that dates possibly to as early as the late 1700s, called here the Mary Locker cabin because of the lady that was living in it at the time of the battle. So that's right where that trench was. I believe it's on the west side, so it would be the opposite side of where we're standing. The trench was 25 feet long, 6 feet wide, and about 3 feet deep. The corpses were buried by company. That is, the members of each company are put together. Company H was buried first in the upper end of the trench next to the woods. They are laid in 2 tiers, one on top of the other. The bottom tier was laid in, then straw laid over the head and feet, then the top tier laid on them and covered with dirt about 18 inches deep. Henry is the 3rd corpse from the upper end on the top tier next to the woods. Mr. Ainsworth, this is not the way we bury folks at home. I am sorry, but I was too late to have it any different."